The kakahu that we wear, or the traditional dress that we wear, was mostly made out of natural fibres. We have a plant that is native to Aotearoa, big leafy plant called harakeke. It's also known as flax, really rich green, fibrous harakeke. You can extract fibres from it and they turn into something like cotton. So you can weave thread from that cotton fibre, and then there's another layer, like a shell layer, that's a little bit more robust. There's another side as well, which is feathers from birds. We use those for cloaks that we used to wear. Cloaks had different lengths, different sizes. This is quite commonly seen. This is a ravelled skirt. This is commonly seen in performance groups who do the haka. So this is one of our kakahu. It's called a piu piu. This is a little bit more traditional, a pureke, traditionally a form of armour. So there's a couple of ways to wear this. A cross sits on the top. This is more formal. This is more environmental. If you're in the forest, for instance, it's more protective from the weather. For battle, we wear it like this. It's protection in the back, because if you were in the front, you'd have this. And on the marae, the men do speech making. The men dress in suit and tie. And during that time, they might wear a feathered cloak over their suit and tie, because women hold the essence to deliver babies. They have the ability to imbue life into their kakahu. So there's a spiritual or a love connection, a love bond to the kakahu. So what tends to happen is, because there's a love woven into the kakahu, and it gets passed on, it becomes such a treasure to the family, because it's so personal to us. Something on your body, we would consider that quite sacred. There are those elements in our kakahu. They do hold quite spiritual, I say, significance.
This here is the generic word for a necklace in niue is called kahoa. And so this is a kahoa. These yellow beads here, these are actually shells, and these are called hihi. These shells are then cleaned and fashioned and then threaded through. Sometimes these shells will be threaded on its own, and that would be called a kahoa. This brown thing here is, how would I describe it? It's more like a fruit, hangs on a tree. They take it down, they dry it, and then it hardens. But this design is very Niuean. Wear it for special occasions, wear it to church, wear it to parties, and it just designates that you are typically, people would wear this, you'd go, oh, I'm sure that person is Niuean. This is what we would call a pulo. This is woven using pandanus, and again it points to what we have in terms of natural resources, okay, that we would use to fashion things. Typically a pulo or pulo tapu, pulo, a church hat, women would wear. This was woven by my great-grandmother. She used to do lots of hats. She's now passed on, but she wove many hats and other things during her time, and I believe she might have worn this to church a few times. This was given to me a few years ago.
Okay, so what I have with me here is a, well, somewhat complete regalia Kayan male. As is tradition, when you put your regalia on, you would start from the bottom. You'd have your loincloth, your bah, we call this, so this is a bah. These days, this is quite modern actually, because you just put it on, slid it on, and that's it. And it's very convenient. Doing a lot of shows, it's very convenient. And then you'd have your seat mat, which is this, we call this abin. It used to be made out of rotan, but this is a seat mat. Back then when you go to the jungle, you would always have your seat mat, so you can sit anywhere, basically, right? So you don't need to carry your proper mat there. And then you'd have your most essential thing as a man. You must always have this. This is your friend. Anywhere you go, this is a friend. even these days when our uncles or dads they go anywhere, they have this in the car, but a different version. This is more of a ceremonial, decorative version of it. We call this malat, malat pokar. The sheath is usually carved as this, and then you have the hilt here. So the hilt, back then it was either bone or horn. You would carve it so intricately, and then the hair on this hilt is used to be human hair, your fallen enemy's hair that you put on. And I haven't kept this really well. This is how it looks like. I'm just very dainty, very small. This is the malat, and also one of the work that we were really well known for, metal work. And then you would put on your shirt. This is another decorative shirt, again beaded. And then your cape, your war cape, made out of different materials. Maybe the more higher caste people would wear the tiger's pelt or a clouded leopard pelt. Or otherwise you can always get some deer pelt, and then you decorate it with this one again decorative. You put your beads on there. There used to be a plate here to cover your belly, and then you go to the head, which is the lavong laga. This lavong is perhaps I can say it's semi-modern, because it was not so decorative as it was back then. This is very, very beautiful and very modernized, perhaps, for lack of a better word. And then at the back here, as you see these feathers, these longer ones are, we call them bataulok. And then you have the tingam. The number of feathers that one wear on the lavong laga is their status in the community. For us, the first time that you can wear the feathers on your lavong is when you're of age. The initiation was my grandmother will hold the feather on the side of my head first, then I can wear it. That's basically it. And last but not least, your kalbit, the shield. So you can see the face of the shield, right? The purpose was actually to intimidate your enemy. The more terrifying the face, the more scary the colors and everything. And this is the first thing that you will see before you see the face of your enemy when you go there. So what you do is, this is how they would usually use it, right? You cover half of your face, just enough to see what's in front of you. So you'd always move this around, and this is really most things that you see. And it's also associated with the spirit that you paint on it. Intimidation and also really, really beautiful carving. Anyway, that's basically the entire regalo.
In the Cook Islands, we have costumes that we use for different occasions. The most used one currently is costumes for performances. Both the male and the female dancers have different types of costumes depending on what we're doing. So the basic rundown, there's a headpiece, there's a neck piece, there's obviously the skirt, and then there's the decoration that go over the skirt, or a little hip band. So we call it a titi. The headpiece is a parik, the neck piece a kaki. Back in the Cook Islands, there was lots of work went into making the costume, preparing the fibre that we use. So we use a tree called, I don't know what the English name is, but it's a kiri'au. You'll see different people wearing different types of headgears. So it just signifies your rank in terms of where you are in the hierarchy. This is a costume piece that's used for dancing, for performances. So you'll see the mother of pearl shells, which comes from our ocean. So this is from a dance group. Actually, the theme could have been around navigation, or around the waka or sailing, which our people is known for. We are navigators of the moana, way before I think GPS and all that stuff were found there. We also have a neck piece. So this is actually actual kiri'au, plus the shells, of course, mother of pearl. Given that this costume was from a northern group that performed, it was one of the islands, so they were able to use this to signify the fact that they are from the northern group, and this is the kind of work that their families do back home in the islands.